hop on here right quick and talk about something that I noticed while I was just looking online and looking at research and stuff. So I was looking at the dates for the next time that, well, I'm sorry, I was looking at the dates for the last time that Mars had went into Gemini, right? And so the dates were Mars went retrograde in Cancer at the 12th degree, November 2007. And then in January 2008, just a couple of months later, it went direct in Gemini at 24 degrees. So that means from 29 degrees to 24 degrees, Mars was retrograde in Gemini. So that was the last time Mars was retrograde in Gemini, even a little bit, was in December and January of 2008. So only for a month, right? And so this time, when Mars goes retrograde in Gemini, in January 08, it went direct in Gemini, which means it was retrograde there for a little bit, just for a month. And then coming up here in October, Mars will go retrograde in Gemini at the 25th degree. So it went direct at 24 degrees, January 08 at 24. And now it's going retrograde at 25, 1 degree away, October 2022. They're 1 degree away. The last direct and the current and the upcoming retrograde are 1 degree apart. So that's very significant in astrology when planets stop and start or do significant things on top of the same degree as previous planets in previous years. It's actually a really solid way to check, to keep track of like timing, stuff like that. You know, like you'll notice, oh, the last time this planet went direct at this degree, did this at the next time, the next planet went over that degree. Is very specific like that. So so continuing on. So don't y'all remember what happened between 2007 and 2008? Between November and January of 2008. I'm sorry, November 2007 and then between January 2008. Literally the fucking recession. The Great Recession. That started end of December 2007. That's when all that started, while Mars was retrograde in Gemini. That's when the problem really accelerated. Mars is about acceleration, that action, that energy, right? And so I was thinking about something. I was like, okay, you know, now we're in the pandemic. We kind of have all this financial stuff going on. And, you know, we had the recession last time with Mars and Gemini, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, so what about Gemini has to do with the economy, like the stock market and stuff? Like, obviously, well, that maybe this is a little too advanced, this little part, but like, every sign has to do with everything in some way. Like, that's derivative astrology. But anyway, continuing on, I was like, what specifically about Gemini is relative to money in this way? What is going on here? So then I started thinking about derivative astrology and how if we want to look at money, stocks, financial economy, if we want to look at all that, then we start with the sign of Taurus, which rules over money and stocks and all those things. And when I say you start with a sign, if you don't know what derivative astrology is, definitely go teach it to yourself tonight so you can understand. But continuing on, for those of you that do know derivative astrology, so if we start with Taurus, right, and we're talking about money, the second house of Taurus is Gemini, right? So the second house of money for money is Gemini, right? Because Gemini is the second house from Taurus, right? So it has second house qualities to Taurus. So that means that the sign of Gemini represents the things that are valuable to and with and for money. Gemini represents options, represents the comings and goings and stuff. And that's why we value money, because we have options with it. We have all the comings and goings with it. You know, you pay your bills, you buy a drink, you put some to the side. That's Gemini, all these different little things to do. Money is like a jack of all trades thing. You can do so much with it, right? So that's why Gemini is the second house to Taurus, right? That's an accurate description of what we value in money and what makes it worthwhile. So with this Mars retrograde in Gemini stuff, so that means Mars is the aggressor planet. It's an agitator. You know, it can be an energizer bunny, and it can give you action and pursuit, you know, go forth. Or it can be aggravating, aggressive. Like whenever someone has cuts and scars and stuff, you know, like I have like a cut, like a pimple right there, like all that type of stuff, that aggressive, aggravating shit. Like if somebody has a cut or something on them, that's it's aggressive, you know, it's aggravating, it's irritating, right? So Mars can be the irritant, right? Like a literal cut. So if Gemini represents all the goings-ons of money, right? And then Mars went retrograde in Gemini. So then what that showed to me was that something became what was already being agitated, because the reason the recession even happened in the first place was because mortgage lenders were giving out a lot of money to people, to a lot of people who really wouldn't be able to pay it back. And then the housing market was growing really, really fast. So all of a sudden there were all these new houses, and the other houses that weren't even that old but weren't as new, the value went down. And the people who owned those houses where the value went down, they owed the bank money. And then all of a sudden their houses were worth less than the money they owed. And the banks didn't have any money to give, so they weren't making any money. So that just, and that because that takes up a large part of the economy, if all those people and their businesses are doing bad, the rest of us have to feel that like a ripple effect. So that's why the recession happened, right? And so Mars retrograde, Mars in Gemini describes an irritant, that there's an irritant with the goings on, with the many different goings on of money, right? There's some irritant going through. And then here's where it gets even crazier. So remember, we're talking about derivative astrology, right? So if we start with Taurus, right? What is the 12th sign from Taurus? What is the 12th house from Taurus? It's Aries. So that means as it relates to anything Taurus related, anything money related, right? When you're using derivative astrology, Mars will be ruler of the 12th house. Mars as a planet will have that 12th house effect on all things Taurus and money related, right? As it relates to the sign of Taurus. Because Aries, Mars's sign, is 12th from Taurus. If you start from Taurus and you count 12, you get all the way to Aries. So if Gemini is the second house of Taurus and Mars rules the 12th house from Taurus, that means whenever Mars goes through Gemini, as it relates to money, because we're starting from Taurus is our starting point. That means as it relates to money, that the ruler of the 12th is going through the second. The 12th house is about what's hidden, what's confused, where we're not seeing reality, where things are unclear or uncertain. They may seem clear, but they're actually not. Or they may be uncertain, but it's actually clear, you know. It's like the Wizards of Waverly Place. Everything is not what it seems. It's like that. And so, boom, then it goes fucking retrograde. So all that unseen, unclear ass shit gets jumbled up even more as it relates to those money things, right? Because it's the second house from Taurus. And Gemini, when it comes to Gemini, it's all about this, that, and the third. That's like, as a sign, that's what it represents. This and that and the you know, options, different things. So if Mars is an irritant, it's irritating all these different options, right? And then it's going retrograde. So these things need to be redone, revised. They're not working, all of this and all of that. And it's just a mess. So then, continuing on with the recession story, February 2008, right after Mars goes direct in Gemini, right after Mars goes direct, that's when the current president at the time, I think it was George Bush at the time. I don't think it was HW. I think it was just regular George Bush. And that's when he signed into law some recession law, some this and that. He took some action. He did some shit, right? And that was supposed to help. And so Mars went direct, showing that now there was a progression of action, right? So anyway, I said all that to say that this coming October, Mars will go retrograde a degree off from where it was last retrograde in Gemini. That is very telling to me, and I just think that means that I think we'll see something close, because it's not the exact degree. Mars will not be going over those exact degrees that it went over back during the actual recession. So I'm thinking that perhaps something will take place, something where it was like almost like we'll be this close from missing some type of not good economic activity. Something like that. It'll be super close after October 2022, somewhere around there or after that. In the months that Mars is retrograde, it'll be retrograde for a minute. Something really close. And then also, another thing I noticed is that Mars will be approaching a square to Neptune during that time, right after the end of October 2022. And in the United States' natal chart, we have a Mars square Neptune. So whenever you have an aspect in your birth chart, and then in the transit sky above us, that aspect is happening again, it is typically going to be significant for you because you have the same aspect natally, and now it's impacting all of us at the current moment, but especially you because you have it natally, right? I used to didn't have an answer for that. I used to did not know like whether that was true or not, but after research and some trial and some error, now I see yes, that does count. So the United States has Mars square Neptune natally, and when Mars goes retrograde in Gemini later this year, it will make a square to Neptune. So definitely some significant financial shit going on with the United States, and it should definitely be something akin, reminiscent, similar, something to connect, even just a little bit maybe, to the 2008 recession, because it'll be a degree apart from the last time and from this time. It'll just be like so close. I think there will be something. But since it's not going over those exact degrees, I'm not saying we're going to have another 2008 recession. I'm not saying that at all. I just think it'll be something calling to that, something like that. Thank you, guys. Hey, Maria. Thank you, guys. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. That's all I wanted to say. I was just noticing that, and I just thought it was really cool. So let me know what you think.